Hello, everybody. Welcome back. Today we have Denise. Denise is going to give us a live virtual tour of her creative space today. Miss Denise is a member of our Creative Crew Facebook group over on Facebook. So make sure to go over there after watching this video and show some love to Denise. And thank you so much for joining us. If you're watching on the replay, you can always comment down underneath the video. And if you're here live, we'd love to hear from you. If you have questions for Denise while she's doing her live tour, feel free to ask them. If I miss your question, feel free to repeat it because that is possible as the comments go by really quickly on my phone. Miss Denise, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay, well, I'm Denise Sefton, and I'm actually from a place called Fort St. John, BC, which is British Columbia in Canada. And to give you an idea of where that is, it's mile 42 of the Alaska Highway.
Wow.
So we're like 4 days by motorbike to Alaska.
Wow.
And then about a year and a half ago, we moved to a place called Merritt, which is still in BC, but it's quite a bit further south. And it's the first time I've lived anywhere else other than Fort St. John. So it was a big change.
Wow.
And I'm married to a really wonderful guy. He's very supportive, and he himself is very creative, though he'd never admit it. But he does fantastic work. He really does, with metal.
Wow.
Recycled. And we've been married 18 years, and we have 3 grown children, 2 girls and a boy, and 5 grandchildren, which is really fun. 3 girls and 2 boys.
Wow. Wow. Okay, so just to give some props to your husband, over on the Creative Crew group, I would love it sometime if you shared some pictures of his work as well. I would love to see his metal work. I think that would be so fascinating.
Well, there's a lot here in the sewing room.
Oh, yay. So we get to see it today.
Oh, yeah.
Perfect. Perfect. So tell me a little bit about the different genres of crafting and being creative that you like to do.
Well, I've sewn since I was a little girl, and I've knit and I've crocheted and I've done cross stitch, and I used to garment sew, and then I started quilting, and now I do nothing but quilt. And I've been quilting about 23 years.
Wow, 23 years. Now, just to give y'all a little spoiler alert, Denise and I met a few minutes before we came on live. So I've gotten a sneak peek preview of Denise's space. And let me just tell you, if you have to leave before you see it, I suggest you come back on the replay because you're not going to want to miss this. Okay. Um, and Denise has pre-warned me her cat might come in. Her cat is sort of the boss of the crafting space. So if her cat comes in, we get to see her cat too. And Miss Denise, why don't you go ahead and turn your camera around, and you can start anywhere in your creative space that you want. And you can show us your space, your storage ideas, projects you have going on that you have currently working or on display that's already done. We would love to see whatever you're willing to share with us.
I turned it and then I turned it back. There we go. Okay, I know I'm doing this. I'm going to put my hand over the camera so I can walk to a certain spot. Okay.
Okay. All right. Don't give us any hints before we get there.
How come I can't see it myself, my space? Can you guys see it? Oh,
yes,
yeah. Okay. Just checking because I'm not very good with technology.
All right. I'm going to put you so that you fill up the screen. But if I have a question, I'll switch the screen so the viewers can see us both. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
So this is the entrance to my quilting room. So I'm in the hallway here. It sounds a little hollow. And I have a collection of antique sewing machines. So this is the one at the bottom of the stairs. And I collect all kinds of sewing notions and stuff too that are antiques. So this sewing basket, that's a Chinese sewing basket. I just love it. It's really unique, I think. And up here I have, that's a Dream Big panel that I quilted. And this is a little antique. Actually, I found this antique quilt here where I live in Merritt. So, and it's made of yo-yos, and it's just sewn onto a double piece of fabric. It's so heavy though, hey, because those yo-yos are so thick. Okay, so I'm going to walk into my main sewing area. and just give a little bit of a view.
Before you get started on that, you had some little sewing buttons on the floor, and
Oh,
Sally
okay.
asked, "What are those? What are your sewing buttons down on the floor?"
They're little containers, actually.
Oh,
They had fabric in them, but now they've got just probably junk. They've got pegs and I think masking tape.
mm,
Okay, so I'm going to start over here on the left. And here I have, these are from Michael's, of course, those, I think they're for scrapbooking, and they're just my projects. I don't have UFOs because I work a project from start to finish. But here I have things that I'm going to do. And this ugly looking chair, that's Eve's chair, and she's not there. And I have to heat that towel 5 times a day for her. So when she comes in, she's going to be demanding that I do that, just to warn you. And these I've had for years and years, you know, from the tool section of the store. And I have my needles and rotary blades and pigment pens and things and stuff like that in there. And I have this bookshelf, and that's my glue stash, and my parchment paper and freezer paper. And this has just got other than quilting stuff, like my ink tense pens and beads and things like that. And here's my baby, my Bernina sewing area. Oh, I have to show this. My talented daughter, who's an artist, made me this sign for my sewing room. She's worked at a sign shop.
that sign is so amazing. That's awesome that she made that.
Well, there's one on the other side that's, yeah, that's I really, really love. That's a little bit more ornate than this one is.
Yeah, that's awesome. Okay, so come into your sewing machine. Can you tell us,
Oh,
you said it's a Bernina, but can you tell us a little bit more information about it, like the model number and stuff?
I have to look. I'm sorry, I had to look here. It's an Aurora 440 Quilters Edition. I actually bought it used off of eBay years and years ago, and it is a tank. It just keeps going and going. I had it in to get repaired, and I said something about it wearing out, and they laughed at me, and they said, "It's a Bernina. It's all metal parts. You know, it won't wear out." So they just tightened the belt, and it's just sewing like a dream again. And this is a panel that a lady that I used to quilt with, she bought us all a panel, and the challenge was to do something with it. So I made that piece border. And then here's all my, you know, sorry, I had to go around my chair. There's my feet, my Bernina feet, and all my sewing paraphernalia. Those are my kiddos, which probably they don't want me to show. Up here is a sign I made. I painted and made, it has cute little buttons on it. And this is my ironing area. And down here, I have this, in this built-in, I have my binders that have my, you know, downloaded patterns and things in it. And my spray starch, pens, because I love color. I just buy pens just because they're pretty, right, to display. And here's my design wall, which I learned from your tutorial. My husband and I made this design wall. And over there is all the letters from my little granddaughters that miss me because
Oh,
I don't
that is
hear
so
school.
awesome. That is so
Yeah.
awesome. Let me pause you for just 1 second.
Oh,
Diana asked, is it possible to turn your phone to the other angle? But before we started, Miss Diane, Denise was saying that the button to close down her screen is right where she holds it with her thumb. So in order for her not to accidentally disconnect from the live, we're doing it in this view so that she doesn't actually accidentally leave the live. So
yeah, I'm
that's
just
the reason.
working. I tried doing it the other way, but my left hand has mind of its own too, so I'm scared I'll disconnect us. So
Yeah,
sorry.
that's okay. We don't want you to disconnect and then it'll
No.
just be me and then we'll miss your whole room.
Yeah, and so this is my cutting table here, and down below I have bins which have my panels and my fat quarters and my labels. So here I have, and this is just a commercially bought. Yeah, I'm having trouble seeing my room too in this little tiny picture. But this is a commercially bought ruler holder. but I bought it when the quilt store was going out of business. So I never buy, pay any full price for anything. So these are my everyday rulers that I use all the time. And this little slotted one, I think I got at a estate sale or a garage sale. This is just a project I'm working on. I actually buy these trays from the dollar store and I glue batting to the bottom so the pieces don't move, just to keep them from, flying off the table.
Yeah, that is so smart. So can you show us again the tray? And
Oh,
what
sure.
section? Is that a painting tray?
Well, there's a stack of them, and the different pieces are.
Oh,
Yeah, the batting just keeps the fabric from going anywhere,
yes.
right?
Yes, I love that. And not to make you nervous or anything, but I believe one of your kiddos is watching the live and says, "Hi,
Oh,
Mom."
okay. Hi, Daryl Ann. I bet it's Daryl Ann. Hi, Denver and Maverick. That's my grandsons. So this is my big mat, and I have little mats. I have the rotary ones too in that thing over there. And I want to show this. I have a friend, Sylvia, that bought these at a garage sale, and I've never seen anything like them. I think they're German, and they used to have cookies in it. Isn't it beautiful? It's just and it's full of, I think it's got some scrap blocks or something in it. And this I got for my birthday, and I haven't had a chance to use it yet.
Okay, so just a quick second while you're right here. Let's take a pause. First, the comment was, no, it is your prodigal son who's watching. And
Really,
then,
I didn't even tell him that I was on.
yes. Now, can you tell us the model number of your brother?
Oh boy, SDX 125.
Okay, because I know several of our members are in the market for a brother scan and cut. So there's been lots of conversation about them.
Oh yeah, and I think this is a better investment than it. I have an AccuCutter that my husband, he bought me this, and he also bought me this, and I was having trouble with my hand. This is an electric one, just so that I could, because I was worried about not, but then I had the surgery and I'm fine. So, okay, you guys ready? I'm going to show you my fabric. I'm just going to walk back here and start over in this corner. And these are IKEA Kalak units, I believe they're called. And there's 3 here, but I do have 4 of them. And they're great because they've got all this storage room on top too. So there's another one of my antique sewing machines. So I have all kinds of little knickknacks that I love. Oh, and here's a piece of Pat's, my husband's, you see that candle stand, that's 2 bobbins.
Yes, that is adorable. That is adorable. Kathy wants to know, do you make objects for yourself? Do you sell any of the things that you make?
Oh, no, I don't. I don't. So these are all my quilting books along here. And like I say, all kinds of knickknacks and things. And at the end here, this is all my AccuCutter quilt dies. Oh, I made that pincushion. And I have all these things those are for bottoms and pincushions when I get to them. And like novelty buttons over there. And this, Pat made that too. He made that. It's got my old garment sewing thread. I actually keep my thread protected in a container because it does get dusty, right? So then I'll just give you guys a view of the fabric. Sorry, hope I'm not making you sick. So I have my fabric sorted by color. And these are my smaller pieces. These are all a meter and a half. And these little ones like that, those aren't actually fat quarters. Those are half meters or, bigger than a fat quarter generally. And I fold them on a ruler. So they're all kind of the same size. And they were in a drawer in my old house. So when I moved, I just asked the movers if they'd preserve those folds so I didn't have to do it all again when I got here. So yeah, so this is all by color. And then I have a few like I have a tulip pink cubby hole, right? And down below the bottom, that's all my backing fabric because I like the full size. I don't like to piece my backing. Okay, so now this is the other end of my sewing room. I'll just give you a view of that.
Okay, while you're right here, can you tell us a little bit more about your long arm machine?
Oh, okay, I'll get to that. I just want, this is
Oh,
my
okay. All right.
favorite part of my sewing room. It's pegboard. And this was bought like in the sheet like this, just this is the size it was, because I kind of wish I could have two of them. So these are all my specialty rulers that I don't use every day. And I have rotary cutters, my pinking shears, sprayers, glue sticks and everything like that. And now my son can roll his eyes, but these are my Scrap Happy University diplomas. It was a 4-year program. Sorry, I'm laughing at myself too. But it was a lot of fun. And I do have 2 real diplomas, which I don't have in frames, but you know, this is the more important ones, right?
You have to have priorities.
And this is my other Bernina. It's remember when we used to go out and sew and go to retreats and stuff? That's from then. And I have all my traveling buttons and my gilt pins and things on there to decorate it. And these 2 bins are like for the kids. They're all kinds of little bitties and stuff in there. Okay, so up here, that's a row of antique sewing machines, mostly Singers. It's a featherweight. Yes, and this is my long arm. It's a 12-foot table. It's a Gamel Classic Plus. It's hand guided. It's got no computer on it. And the Gamel guy is always trying to get me to put one on. And I say, no, I like the dorky homemade look. So and that always stops him in his tracks. He just never says anything after I say that, right? So I've had it since 2008. And actually the quilting is my favorite part of the whole quilting thing. So, you know, I just sewed a quilt. And here's my stencils, the wall hanging I've made, stereo. This was in the old sewing room too, this corner cabinet. And there's a few antique machines on there, little ones, like they call them the salesman samplers. And that cupboard has Gamel, or not Gamel, Glide thread.
Your little baby sewing machines are so cute. So Joanne had asked, how big is your sewing room? And your son said it is the whole basement.
It's the whole basement. I don't know the dimensions. I'm sorry.
But
And
you have
that's my,
all the space in the basement. That's all for you?
well, of course.
Wow, that is awesome. That is awesome.
And then these bins are just, you know, the ones you get from Canadian Tire and Walmart. And that's my long arm thread by color and brand as well. And all of my long arming rulers. Oh, and this is the other sign that my daughter made. And this is the other Kallax unit because I couldn't get them all on the same wall. And this one has, sorry about the vacuum there, a couple of antique machines on top too. And these books are long arming books. So that's how that's sorted. And this unit has Orientals and kids prints and batiks, 1930s. And this is the skeleton in our closet. Okay, so prepare yourselves. We're going to go.
What I think is interesting is that you have skeletons in your closet, like most of us.
Yes.
A. Mendez asked, how often do you get to sew and how many hours a day do you usually spend down in your crafting basement?
Well, you know, we live here and there's no kids around. So I don't have to babysit or anything. So I just can sew. My husband works. I can sew all day long. And if he wouldn't make such unreasonable demands on me, like supper and laundry, I could probably sew more, right? But yeah, I sew usually in the morning and then I take a break and then I go down in the evening. So there's just a wall hanging my mother-in-law made me. And this is a row by row that I did one year. And this is another Dream Big panel that I did. This one is not just feathers, it's other kinds of motifs. Okay, you people don't judge me. These are my magazines, another antique sewing machine. And these bins are my scrap sorting system, all the different strips and squares. There's a little bit of my cross stitch. Okay, I'll just, don't want to fall, but I'll just tell you what's in here. Okay, I'll go around the top of the room first. Store my batting in here too.
What's awesome is that when we talked before the live stream, you mentioned you weren't going to show this room, but I was like, yes, you have to share this room. It's like a quilt shop in there. It would
It
probably be my
is.
favorite room in the whole basement.
Well, one time we were going through a really tough time. Like, so I don't remember what happened. And my husband's standing there wringing his hands and he goes, would it help if you go stand in the fabric room? And I went, oh, don't be silly. That won't help. And then I went down there and I went, well, okay, just a little. It helps a little. So this is sorted by color as well. Sorry. But this is like novelty prints, border prints. This is just stack and whack right here in this corner. And Asian prints and fall, which I love fall. And I always show people this just in case they're wondering.
Yes, yes. Oh, what did I do? Speaker view. Oh, I think I might have lost her. I think she might have accidentally hit the X out button. Oh no. Oh no, we lost her. All right, y'all, hold on a second because she might join us back. Da, 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 da. So you just got me for a second. It might be a minute before she realizes she accidentally hit the little X button. So you got me for a second. Miss Denise, if you pull this up on YouTube, if you go back to Etsy and you click on that link, it'll bring you right back. So y'all just pause for a second and grab a little drink or a snack. We'll see if Denise comes back to join us. Sherry asked, are those full-size bolts? Taking a look at the bolts as she was scanning through, it looks like the fabric is wrapped on the original bolt, but I don't know that each one of those bolts had the full amount on them. Some of them look like she's cut pieces off before. Da-da, da-da. Da-da, da-da. I'm just waiting to see if she comes back. It's just me. Da-da. How's the weather where you are today? Don't you love the way she has those cubbies set up for her fabric? My glory. That was awesome. Yeah, if you could text your mom and let her know to go back to Etsy and click back on that link in her Etsy message and join us, that would be fabulous. Diane said I could go shopping at her house. I know, right? It's like visiting a quilt shop. Oh, he's going to call her. Okay, good. Because she might still be talking thinking she's still there. Because I've done that before, too. I've done that. Sally, I sent her the link to join the Zoom through Etsy messages. So that's where her link to join this Zoom is. Oh, Vicky, you got more snow. Ah, Quilting Beauty and Books said, while we were waiting, I just found your channel and I absolutely love your channel. Thank you so much. We do all kinds of fun stuff here, quilt-alongs, t-shirt quilts. We're doing this fun series where we get to show everybody else's stuff. That's fun. Y'all see my stuff all the time. Y'all see my room all the time. I'm really enjoying getting to look at all of your stuff. Jeannie, it's 55 where you are. Wow, it cooled off since the other day. You told me it was like 83 the other day. Aw, Emma, you learned your first quilt watching the videos. Oh, have I seen it, Emma? If you're on Facebook, send me pictures. If you don't do Facebook, jump over to my Etsy shop because you can send me pictures of your quilt there. I would love to see it. Sally said, we got 6 inches last night. Oh, and another 3 to 5 today. That's a lot of snow. Sally, you have gotten snow so much this year. I think we have a chance for snow next week, but that's likely to change about 10 times before we get there. Teresa said, we finally got snow. Just hope we don't get single digits. Oh my glory, no. Sheila said, wet and chilly in Southeast Virginia. Ooh, Southeast Virginia. Are you down near the North Carolina border? I think that's southeast. I don't know. Oh no, she's having internet issues. Resetting the router now. All right, we're going to give it just a second and see if she pops back on. The good news is before her router went out, we got to see the majority of her basement. It's pretty amazing, right? I was just in awe. We're going to give it a few more minutes. The good news is we got through most of her crafting space, her crafting basement. It's a whole floor down there. Joanne, I know, isn't it fun to see how, because we're all so different, right? And all of our spaces are different. I remember when I used to have to set up at the dining room table, and I loved it. It was a lot of work setting up and tearing down, and if I was working on a big project, I would just leave it up. Oh, here she comes again. She got it. I would just leave it all up, right? And we'd eat at the sofa, right? So we all have different spaces. She's coming back in, y'all. Thank you so much, Prodigal Son, for getting everything sorted out for us. Yay! Sheila, you're in York County. Do you know you're about 15 minutes away from me? Did you know that? We could have a quilting in person day one day.
I'm trying to be back.
You're back. I'm so glad I waited and I didn't just end the video.
Sorry, that was my Wi-Fi.
Ah, Wi-Fi.
I'm trying to flip. There I am. Sorry.
There you are. I'm so glad you're back. Thank your son so much for us when you talk to him after this, for getting in touch with you and keeping us updated.
Yeah, I kept trying to hit the link. I know I'm technically challenged, but I didn't know I needed to do that. But it just kept saying no internet.
Oh, okay.
And it does that here sometimes. It'll just, I'm always worried it'll do it in the middle of my banking or something, right?
Oh.
But That would be scary. So did you guys get to see all that? You're good?
We did. We got to see. Now, is there anything when it cut off, we were in your fabric room with the
Hmm.
bolts. Is there anything to show us after that, or is that the
Well,
last part?
do you guys need more? Come on.
If you have more, we'll gladly
Oh,
take a look.
no, well, that's it. And I am sorry, but yeah, this internet here for some reason is not very reliable.
Well, I'm so glad you got to come back on before we ended. I was saying that I was so impressed with your space. Uh, it would be a space that I would spend as much time in
Mhm.
as possible. I loved the thread stand that your husband made. That
Yeah,
was gorgeous. That was gorgeous. He could sell those, he could sell those.
yeah. He's building a shop. He doesn't have a shop right now.
Uh, I just want to thank you so much for having the courage to come live. I know it takes a lot of nerve for one just to make a video, but to come live is a whole other thing. So thank you so much. And thank you for taking the time out of your day to share your space with us. I just wanted to see if we have any questions before we
Okay.
go since you came back. Sherry asked, where are you located again?
I'm in Merritt, BC. Are you going to come visit?
So you're in Canada, right?
Yes, in Canada.
Yes, yes. Just to let you know, I watched the weather earlier today and I saw pretty much Canada was covered in pink, like Arctic chilly weather. So if I
Yeah.
come to visit, it's going to be in a couple months from now because I don't do the cold like that. What's the temperature like where you are today?
Well, actually, it's semi-arid here, so it's warm. It's a little pocket of we're in the mountains, so the weather will be terrible and treacherous all around us. But in the Merritt itself, it will be like it's probably one, maybe. I'm sorry, it's Celsius. I don't know
I don't know the conversion off the top of my head
no.
either. I would have to look it up, but you're saying it's warmer than it usually is?
Well, no, it's always kind of warm here. It's
Oh,
just it's different than up north where it was, cold for a lot longer. And the winters aren't as long here either. And the cat just woke up. She's meowing, but I guess nobody can hear her.
well, everybody is saying thank you so much for sharing your space. I just want to scroll through and make sure we're not missing any questions for you. Yeah, I think that's it. Again, thank you so much.
Oh,
Thank you
well,
so
thanks
much.
for letting me do this. I'm sorry about the Wi-Fi.
That's okay. I'm glad I hung around so that we could at least say goodbye
Yeah.
and thank you for spending your time with us. Now, if y'all came in halfway through or towards the end, Denise's video, along with I think there's 4 or 5 other ones, the Craft Room series is in a playlist, and the link for that playlist is in the description box below, and you can spend some time hanging out with other members who have shared their craft room tours. And next Wednesday, we have Anitra's craft room tour, so stay tuned for that. Miss Denise, I look forward to seeing your stuff over on the Creative Crew group. I hope you have a fantastic weekend.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.